dealing with the same thing, right? And this is not the only video I'm going to play to showcase that. Let's keep watching.
That's what I wanted. I wanted
What
somebody.
are you talking about?
I wanted somebody that probably sold drugs once upon a time, but they gave their life to Jesus.
So what does that do for you? Explain to the people.
I'm attracted to. I'm attracted to that.
Where she says, I want a Christian man, but they're all corny. Check it out.
I want a Christian man, but they just corny. No, not all of them, but
some of
y'all need to have more swagger. You know what I'm saying? Because like y'all, they got the word, you got the spirit. We got spirit. We got yay, good. But it's like I look at the
How does a Christian man get
I don't
swag?
know, but you know when you look over at the worldly man and you be like, "Ooh, why you walk like that and talk like that and smell like?" But the
Christian men be
Christian
smelling
men
good.
they don't walk like that and talk like that.
Okay, so this, and you have this video right here.
Never could have made it without.
So it says, me and my friend praying for a God-centered relationship, but thinking men of God are corny.
Be dating the men with dangly earrings and then be shocked when he gives you dangly earring energy. I just don't get it. You want a man of God or you want the thug? Because you ain't gonna have both. You want the IG baddie or you want the woman that God has for you. You're not gonna get both.
Here's the danger with that, is that as a servant of the Lord, someone who's supposed to be a reflection of Christ, if the characteristics and traits and way I carry myself are corny, you're basically saying that Jesus was corny. And that's horrible. That you basically would call me corny for looking like Christ. You serving a corny Lord is what you're telling me. It's just crazy, you know, and it hurts my heart to see that. And what I see is people aren't as transformed as they say they are if they still desire the things that they did before they came to Christ. As they get closer to Christ, they still have an eye for those things. Like it didn't change, that taste in their mouth didn't leave them. Then there's the issue. You want, again, an inward sheep with the outside appearance of a wolf. That's not a true man of God. That is an actor. That is someone who is 1 foot in the world, 1 foot on the Lord's side. Because again, transformation takes place the closer you get to God. And in order to be considered a man of God, you're serving the Lord and you're doing things to be pleasant in his sight. Now, here's the thing, men, don't let a woman change you. Don't compromise. Do not do that. That is what happened with Adam. He appeased to Eve's desire of what was pleasant in her sight. Men, don't change who you are if you're serving the Lord to appease to a woman, because that's the deception that started all of this, turmoil with us as sinners, is that something was pleasant to the eye of Eve, and Adam catered to her preference or what she wanted. Continue to follow the Lord, serve the Lord, be a man of God according to biblical standards, not the world standards, because we know those are low. Be a man of God according to biblical standards. Women, we got to do self-examination. And this is for men too. If you are still wanting those things that you wanted before you came closer to the Lord in a woman or a man, then maybe you haven't truly transformed yourself. The inner man is not transformed. Your mindset is not transformed if you still want those things, yet you claim that you want them to be godly. There's no hybrid man of God, a hybrid woman of God. You're either a man of God or you're worldly. The woman of God or you're worldly. There's no in between. So to me, it seems like men and women, I'm talking about both sides. Self-examination needs to be done to where we need to see, why is it that I still am attracted to that thing in the world, but I want them to be a woman or man of God internally. You're going to see the fruits of a man of God or woman of God. They're going to exude those qualities without speaking, without talking when they come into the room. You'll see, oh, that's a man of God or woman of God. And if the swag that I have of the light of God shining in me is not enough swag, then I don't have anything for you. I don't have anything for you. You're looking at the wrong thing. If you're looking at how I carry myself, how I walk, how I talk, when I say this and say that, if I've got to say certain things and all of that to attract you, you're not even the one I want to attract anyway, because you're not truly seeking what you say you're seeking, which is a servant of the Lord. You want somebody who looks like the world, but on the inside, they serve God, when it should be the outward should reflect the inward. That's just the way it works. There's no way for me to be a inward sheep and then portray myself as a wolf. I'm not doing that. I'm not in disguise. I don't want to attract the things that a wolf would attract. I want to attract what a sheep would attract to it. That way I know that I'm not gonna run into something that's a stumbling block. And that's really what I'm getting down to, is that we need to be meditating on the word of God, on what a biblical man of God and a biblical woman of God is. We need to ask God to remove those desires if they aren't godly. If you're looking for traits and attributes in a person and they're not godly, they're the opposite, you can't have no Christian thug. I'm sorry. It doesn't work that way. That man hasn't been transformed. It's just like saying I can have a Christian stripper. I can't do that. That ain't how it works. It's not how it works. Okay? You're gonna exude those fruits of the spirit in Galatians 5, and me being a thug and talking this way or that way, that's not the fruit of the spirit. I can be culturally informed, which is knowing what culture says is cool and popular, but I don't have to be culturally transformed, because scripture tells us, be not conformed to the way of the world. I'm going to exude Christ. I'm going to walk and talk as a man of God and honor God, not the preferences of a woman, because I serve God and God is going to judge me, not the woman. So again, if you're a person who's looking for those traits in a woman or a man, maybe you're not as transformed as you say. Maybe you haven't. There's some things, you got some altars that you need to take down. If you're still looking at the way people carry themselves, and you're attracted more to that edge, raunchy, promiscuous look, but you want them to be a servant of the Lord. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. I don't want to be a cultural Christian. I don't want to be a cultural man of God. That's not God's level, and that's not God's standard. Okay, so it's dangerous to be a man of God, clearly, because we're going to be labeled as corny when we're a reflection of Christ. So I guess Christ was corny. And I've had my fair share of women I don't think women know what they want, really, because I've had women, I'm not even trying to date. I'm not thinking about dating. Y'all know some of y'all know my situation. I'm locked in because I said some things before the Lord that I'm going to honor God, and I didn't say them with contingencies. So I'm standing on what I told the Lord. And, I've had people who I've done Bible class study with on Zoom, things of that nature. And, I'm all for breaking bread. I've had men and women pour into me and give me, godly counsel. But I've also had women who had ulterior motives and used the Bible Zoom or something like that as an opportunity to actually get in their flesh. And then, what they really were after came out. And I'm like, so y'all really don't even want a man of God. Y'all want a man that's compromised, a man that says he's a man of God, but he still carries himself as a worldly heathen, somebody who is a willful practitioner of lawlessness that will fornicate and use grace as an excuse to be like, well, it's okay, God's gonna forgive me. Y'all don't truly want a man of God by biblical standards, and I get it. Men is men too. Y'all want a woman who will submit, right? But then y'all want her to look like the world. I mean, and that's just not how it works. If you truly know what a man of God and woman of God looks like, it doesn't look like anything that these women said. And if that is corny to you, then what you're telling me is that you believe that the Lord is corny. If a man is a reflection of his Lord, you're saying that that man is corny and who he serves is corny. You don't truly want a man of God. So we need to fix that. I'm just kind of, like I said, I'm just campaigning for the men, but I'm campaigning for the women too. Because I've seen women say that it's hard for them in the dating field, in the dating pool, because men say they want a woman of God to that woman that's standing on not having sex before marriage. So I am just trying to do what God tells me to do, and He moved me today to kind of speak on that thing. And I just feel like we've got to be the man or woman of God ourselves before we can start seeking a man and woman of God, because we won't know what a man or woman of God is, and we'll be looking for the wrong things in that person, and end up with a counterfeit. Each one teach when iron sharpen iron. Y'all be good. I love you.